All right, apparently the Washington Commander fan base has a gripe with Ben Johnson. They say they have an issue with Ben Johnson, and the issue with Ben Johnson, which is, if you don't know, the Lions offensive coordinator, is that they wanted to hire Ben Johnson to be the Washington Commanders head coach last year. He declined. Now, some rumors on why he declined. So, for the most part, the Washington Commander fan base is fueled. Their chip on their shoulder is, well, we want to make Ben Johnson pay. You know, he didn't do this, he didn't do that for us. He didn't like us. But let's talk about the Lions Talk playlist. Hit the link tree, find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. So for the most part, basically he made some quotes or some alleged comments. He didn't want to reportedly work under a bunch of basketball guys, Magic Johnson, Bob Myers. Then also, the Commanders fans are leaking out, or whatever you want to call them. The media is leaking out that he didn't want to draft Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels. He wanted to keep Sam Howell as quarterback. So I don't know how true that part is. Obviously, that's a bad judge of character, in my opinion, as far as quarterback. So that all this is what they allege to say, and they're mad at Ben Johnson because he felt like their franchise wasn't good enough to go to. And my thing is this. Why are y'all so bitter and angry about Ben Johnson? That's my thing. Why are they so bitter and angry how Ben Johnson is moving? Y'all are successful. You'll have an opportunity to be in the NFC Championship game and possibly go to the Super Bowl year one. Why are y'all looking behind? Dan Quinn, obviously, as of right now, was the right guy for the job. And also, you have the right play caller in Cliff Kingsbury for the job, who doesn't look like he wants to entertain another coaching job opportunity, but that could change with a run to the Super Bowl. Why is Ben Johnson on your mind? And if you feel like you have to geek yourself up to win to play a team, and you ain't geeked up enough just by being in the opportunity, and their whole thing is we playing with house money, we don't have the pressure, all the pressure is on Detroit. I mean, pressure is not necessarily a bad thing. I say when I used to competitively play Madden, the games that I would lose would be the people that, or the ones that games that I would lose or may not be as good as I like them to be, were the games where I pretty much underestimated somebody. Bullshitted around, won at the end, lost at the kick at the end, didn't take them serious. But the games where I knew I was playing somebody really, really good in the top 100, whatever, those were my best games. Not all the time came out as a win, but it came out as, I respect. It wasn't blow me out by 50 or nothing like that. I bought. So, long story short, playing with pressure on you, it low-key, for me personally, I'm better, even when I was hooping or whatever I was doing competitively, for the most part, I was more focused. So necessarily having pressure on you ain't a bad thing. When you can't have no slips, no falls, you really got to play a great, perfect game. You just focus on that. You honing in on that. So that whole thing, we don't have pressure, all the pressure on Detroit. Well, we welcome it. It's the city of Detroit. We built on pressure. We built on hustle. So, my thing is that if you got to hype yourself up for a game of this caliber, I feel like that's weak. If you got to look for something for the game of this caliber, like what better opportunity than you have to say, you know what, we get a chance to go to the NFC Championship game, probably 9.9 times out of 10, you're going to play the Philadelphia Eagles and have a rubber match with the Eagles. What better opportunity is that? Ain't that enough? If I'm them, I'm not trying to match Detroit physically. I'm not trying to I'm trying to outmatch Detroit at what we do well. So at the end of the day, yes, this is an important game. But sometimes when you come back, and you so lackadaisical, you so lax, we ain't no pressure on you. Sometimes you can come out there and fucking get smacked. Obviously, you can play loose, but sometimes you probably need to be a little tighten up, play a little tight. But the whole thing with Ben Johnson and just gripe with him because y'all wasn't good enough for him, man, y'all succeeding. It looked like he missed a great opportunity. But who knows? You put him in that position, and what if he don't do as good as Dan Quinn and y'all go 5-12? Y'all got the right guy. Y'all drafted the right guy. Now it'd be interesting if they had an opportunity to draft Caleb Williams, what had happened, because he's really the hometown kid for people who didn't know. I remember watching Reggie Miller's 30 for 31 in time, which is one of my favorite ones. And what was the white boy that they wanted to, Steve Alford? All the fans in Indiana wanted the Pacers to draft home Steve Alford. And Donnie Walsh drafted Reggie Miller. And they were so mad at Donnie Walsh for drafting Reggie Miller. Excuse me. So I got my do-rag on and make my hair hurt, but I got to keep my hair tied down. I got a shindig to go to. And they all wanted to draft Reggie Miller. They all wanted Steve Alford. Fast forward, let's say probably not even 5 years later, Donnie Walsh was right. Steve Alford was nowhere near as good as Reggie Miller. But yeah, I mean, whatever hypes him up. To be honest, I don't really have expectations for the Lions game. I just like to enjoy them. I do prediction videos because that's what I do. But I would rather not. I don't bet on the Lions. I don't bet on their money line. I don't bet the money line. I don't bet the spread. Maybe the over and under and the other prop bets. But I do not bet with or against the Lions. So, but I think I said the Lions win by 6, maybe. But they struggle historically with those mobile quarterbacks. I mean, going back to Joe Webb, you know what I'm saying? Remember Andrew Luck ran one at the end of the game on the bootleg. I was there at that game, So, yeah, you just really never know what you're going to get with the Lions. I'm just so abused by them through the years that it's just hard to stick your chest out. So many fans, oh, yeah, woo, and I'm like, dog, most of them can't be the fans for real, because I understand you enjoy the ride, but then we like an abused PETA animal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too good to be true. I remember I was listening to this interview. This is, one of the probably the best interview I heard this year. I've never knew this. It was an NBA player called Derek Anderson. He was from Kentucky. He went to Ohio State, went to Kentucky. Long story short, he was the originator of the Jordan low, the low cut Jordans. I got some tools that's low. I'm not really a big Jordan low guy, depending on the Jordan, but I got some tools that's low, Carolina blue tools. I got some red, white, and black ones that's low. So there's certain shoes I like in lows. And he was the originator. He was the reason why they start, cutting Jordan lows. He's the reason. He started hooping in Jordan lows, and also Mike Bibby, for y'all who didn't know. But Derek Anderson was the originator. Him and Mike Bibby popularized it. Also, side note, if you a sneakerhead, Mike Bibby actually debuted the Foamposites at Arizona. When he was in this Arizona University, he debuted the Foamposites, which allegedly, the story goes, Scotty said no, Penny said yes to him. Remember little Penny on the couch on whoop. But I heard a story about this particular dude. I was listening to his interview on the Knucklehead podcast. Darius Miles, Q Rich. If y'all come from my generation, y'all know him. Q Rich used to work with the Pistols organization too, for those who didn't know. And he was saying that his mother left him like at 12, and his story was she just left and he had to fend for himself. It was a sad story, man. It was a sad story, and eventually, his character carried them through, and Jordan liked him and put him on Jordan Brand for his character. Go listen to that interview, man, because I think people don't really understand when you see guys, man, and I'm not enabling bad behavior. When you see guys make bad behaviors, man, like, you don't even know. Like, some of these kids just didn't have a chance. Like, for him, he's in the minority, the small minority, his story. Like, your mother lived at 12, and he had to do things to survive on his own, man. So, that was a good story. I just wanted to share that. But hey, check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Let me know what you think. Comment section. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Hit the link tree. Find me everywhere on other platforms. Peace.